Hello my friends and welcome back. This is going to be a very exciting lesson on the song Minute by Minute by the Doobie Brothers, and we're going to take a look at it and try to convert it into a solo guitar performance. So that's going to be quite a challenge, so let's get to it. And before we begin, friends, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Lots of guitar tips, tricks, and lessons for you to take a look at, along with a bunch of original music that I'd love to get your feedback on, all provided free of charge to share with anyone who wants to listen. Again, always a pleasure to have you aboard our enjoyable guitar journey. What we're going to look at here is converting the iconic piano of Michael McDonald's introduction to a guitar setting. So we'll look at the introduction, and then we'll take a look at the melodies, the main verse, and the chorus, and then of course the bridge, if we don't shut the lights out on us by the time we get to the end. So first, let's take a look at the introduction. Now, when asked, Michael McDonald says, pretty simple, it's just triplets. True enough, but this is actually quite tricky, because not only is it a quarter note triplet over a 4-beat pattern, but it is also a 10-chord phrase. Now, putting a 10-chord phrase into a 12 measure, this is 12/8, right? So basically we're putting a chord on each quarter note, so that's going to give us 6 chords in each measure. So 6 chords in each measure, but there's only 10 chords. So we're going to have 6 chords and then 4 chords, and then we've got 2 quarters that are empty, right? Well, that's going to start the next pattern of the 10. So you'll see that the first time you play through, you're going to end up repeating on beat 5. And then the next time you repeat, you're going to end up repeating on beat 3. Luckily, that's the end of it, because the next time we repeat, we are actually into the song on beat 1. So we're going to play this 10-chord pattern 3 times over 5 measures of a 12/8 rhythm, okay? Now, we're not going to think of it as a 12/8 rhythm, because the 12/8 rhythm is the basis of the song, right? So when we get to the melody, we're going to be playing, "Hey, don't you worry, I've been lied to." That whole laid-back pop ballad 12/8, da 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 da, right? Very famous in songs like "I see birds in the trees, red roses too," right? That 12/8, da 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 da. So when we do 12/8, we're thinking of a 4-beat pattern with triplets with each beat. Or let's count it as 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a, right? So we've got this steady 4-beat pattern. Now, when we talk about the introduction, we've got to get 6 chords in 4 beats. So to reduce that even further, we've got to get 3 chords in 2 beats. So that's where the triplet comes in. We're playing 3 chords for every 2 beats. So that triplet quarter is covering that half note, if you will. For each measure, we've got 2 half notes, 4 beats, right? And then we're going to have 6 chords. So the feel of that's going to be, again, with the straight 4, 3, 4, da, 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 da. So those chords are going to hit 6 times in the 4 beats. Da, 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 da. So we're going to be playing, again, with that, keeping that beat pattern going for da, 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 da. Okay? That's the 10 chords. Now, what makes this even more interesting is he's not just playing quarter chords, he's doing octaves, and he's doing octaves in eighth notes. So we're going to simulate that by doing an extra pick on the end of each 6 beat. So we're going to be doing da, 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 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. Okay, and so the whole pattern is going to be da, 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 and then we're back to repeat. Very tricky. Very tricky to get your ear around this because, again, the things that make it really tricky, once you've heard it enough, the 3/2 is kind of a cool pattern. This goes way back, early days of Fats Domino. He was playing 3/2, right? So that we can get used to. The trick is the chord pattern is 10, and the 3/2 is not conducive to a repeating 10 chord pattern, right? If there were like 6 chords or 3 chords, then it would be a breeze, right? Because we would just be playing that rhythm and it would fit right in. But this is 10 chords. So again, as I said before, we're going to repeat the second time through on the 5th beat of the measure. The 3rd time through, we're going to repeat on the 3rd beat of the measure. And then the 4th time through, well, there won't be a 4th time through. When we finish 3, we'll be back on beat 1, ready to start the song. Okay? So let's take a look at the actual tab and the actual chords that we're playing. Now again, I've converted this for guitar. I play it on the piano. There are a lot of great YouTube videos to show you exactly note for note how to play it on the piano. But again, solo guitar, we're not going to exactly play every note that was played on the piano here on the solo guitar. I've worked out a little pattern that I think works quite well. In fact, if you play this pattern along with Michael McDonald on the recording, it actually sounds pretty good. So what we're going to do is take a look at this. And the chords we're going to play is a simple D minor, okay? And to simulate the octaves, 8th notes that are being played, we're going to use the first finger on the 3rd string most of the time to create that simulation of the 8th note octave, okay? So we're going to play a D minor with the thumb and the 2nd and 3rd finger, and then we're going to play the 1st finger as the 8th note, okay? So it's going to be D minor and then we're going to open up to a C chord, okay? And again, we don't need to play the full C because we aren't playing the first 2 strings, or not the first 2, but we're not playing the 6 and the 5 string, so we don't have to worry about filling the whole C chord. So we're going to play the D minor, and then we're going to play a C. We only need the E and the C. Okay, again, we're playing the same pattern with the thumb and the 2 and the 3, and then the 1 as the 8th note. And then we're going to come back to an F again, and then from the F, we're going to go to our first diminished chord. Now, I've diminished 7th. I found after playing this a few times that it's just easier to go from the F to the F diminished 7 right here. It moves nicely, and it actually sounds okay. You can try playing the F sharp diminished 7th up here, or you can try playing it over here if you wish. I found that playing it there works fine. So we go from the F to the F sharp diminished, okay? And then we go to a G. And from the G, we're going to go to a G diminished. So we've moved the bass from down here on this F. We've moved the bass up to the G. So F, F sharp diminished to the G. And then we're going to go to a G sharp diminished, okay, using that bass note. And again, these 2 fingers. Again, we're using that 1st finger on the end of the 8th. And now we're going to finish it off with an A minor. And these are all 10ths, right? Like the old classic swing stride pianists, Teddy Wilson, Fats Waller, all those guys who should be a lot more famous than they are. And we've got A, and we've got the C. And then we're going to go up to the G with a B bass, okay? And then the C. And again, we're playing just 3rds or 10ths here, okay? And now the C, and then we're going to just slide up the C sharp, keeping the little finger where it is for the C sharp diminished, okay? So we've got this. D, C, F, F sharp, G, G diminished, A minor, B, actually G with a B bass, C, C sharp, diminished. That's the 10 chords, okay? And we're using the little finger in between. We've got da 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 da, and then we repeat da 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 da, and then we repeat again da 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 da, and we do that 3 times, and then we're into the song. So now getting the feel of that as we play it, so that we can get that introduction in place, we're going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, feeling the 12/8, 3, 4, da 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 da, then converting into your mind that you're playing 3/2. So it's da 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 back to the 12/8 feel, da 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 da. Then the F G11, G11 with the F bass, and then we're into the C major 7 to start the song. Okay, so that's your introduction. Play with that. Of course, get the feel of the chords first, and work to get the rhythm in place and get a handle on that rhythm. It's actually pretty cool once you get it done. And I think, again, not exactly note for note, but the rhythm is exact, the chords are basically the same, and it works quite well if you're all by yourself and you don't have the Doobie Brothers backing you up, right? So now we go from there into the tune. Again, when we're coming off the introduction, we're going to play the D minor 7 for a while. Da, 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 da. And then we're going to go to a G11 for 2 measures, right? So 2 measures D minor, 2 measures G11. And again, the G11 is basically an F chord with a G bass, right? If you're a pop pianist, you don't even go through a song without doing that. That's the old G bass with playing, the triad above. So F in the triad, G in the bass. When you do that, you're taking the bass note. Again, if we go back to the G, F, you're taking the G, and then by playing the F triad, you've got the F, which is the dominant 7th of the G, the A, which is the 9th of the G, and the C, which is the 11th of the G. So we call it a G11, but basically you've got the 7th, 9th, and the 11th, and sometimes in pop music you'll see that as an F with a slash, and then underneath is a G, okay? And very, very common in popular piano music. Now that we come back off of that G, and we're going to play that G11 chord a lot here. So now we come into the C major, okay? So the first line, hey, don't you worry, I've been lied to. And again, we only have a guitar, right? So I'm playing the C major 7. I'm going up to play this D diminished 7. And then I'll probably go back to the G11 just to get some fluctuation in the quality of the color. Da, 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 da. It adds to the rhythm of the piece, and it also gives you a little more color to play with. So I think that works. You've got to do something instead of just playing a C major 7. You've got to do something to keep that rhythm as part of the piece. The rhythm is instrumental to this song. So also a D minor 7 works well there. But I think I like the diminished better. then we go from that G11 up to the C minor 7, which is just one finger, right? We're playing the G bass, and again we're playing just the 3 fingers. And I like to play the 3 fingers on the 2, 3, and 4 strings. It's a very jazzy way to play it. And you're getting a good, nice, thick jazz chord there with that C minor 7. And then we're going to go from the C minor 7 to the F9. So you see that's pretty much the same, except now we're moving that note down here, so we got to use the first finger. So it's like a little triangle, and we drop that down. That's the F9, famous James Brown. In fact, there's an old story that if you could play an E9 all night long, you could play guitar for James Brown. So, Father of Soul, shout out, great music. Anyways, we go to the F9, and by the way, you're noticing that this song, Michael McDonald influence, of course, gospel chords, gospel style chords in a lot of his playing, and it does infiltrate into this minute by minute. So we've got the F9, and then we're going to come back down to the C with the G bass, and then we're going to go to, again, the G11, which is the G with the F. So that basically fills out the verse. So you can see what it's going to be. It's going to be, hey, don't you worry. And again, rotating that bass like that is a nice thing to keep your guitar playing moving forward while you're singing. Hey, don't you worry, I've been lied to. I've been here many times before. Don't you worry, I know where I stand. I don't need this love, I don't need your hand. I know I could turn and blink and you'd be gone, but I must be prepared any time to carry on. Okay, and that's your verse. So now it's going to go to F major 7. So we've got minute by minute by minute, back to our old friend the G11. I'll be holding on to the C major 7. So really nothing new except for that F major 7. Okay, so we've got minute by minute by minute, I'll be holding on. And now we're going to from the C major 7 to the D7 flat 5, okay, which is also a D half diminished chord, and that's going to be right there in the 5th and 6th frets. Just as a little passing tone, back to the C major 7, and then we're going to go to a B flat 7, A minor 7, again just a bar. We don't need the whole thing because we're only playing the 2, 3, and 4 strings, and then the G minor 7, which again same fingerings, and just moving it down to 2 frets, and then we're back to the F major 7. We repeat, and that's the chorus. So here it is. Minute by minute by minute, I'll be holding on. Minute by minute by minute, I'll be holding on. And then we go back to the G11 to go into the next verse, okay? And that verse will be the same chords that we did in the first verse. Now, when we get to the bridge, interesting that he toys around with this thing again, this introduction, but only one time through. So it goes da 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 da. So it drives us right up to the E minor for the bridge, okay? So again, so we're playing along, right? We've just finished our minute by minute. I'll be holding on. And we're on the C major 7. And then we're going to go back into that introduction rhythm. Da 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 da. Okay, the 10 chords. But now we need 2 more beats to get to the end, right? So we're going to go da, da, and we're just doing that C sharp diminished, da, up to the D, up to the E flat, and that takes us to an E minor chord, right? And you can play E minor or E minor 7. So we're going to go, and that's E minor, call my name and I'll be gone. D7, back down to the C major 7. You reach out and I won't be there. B minor, A minor, just your luck you realize. D9, you should spend your life with someone. Repeat it. You should spend your life with someone. And then we're going to change keys for our chorus. We're going to a C major 7 now instead of the F major 7. C major 7. Minute by minute by minute. Now we're going to do a D11. Same as we did on the F and the G, but now we've got the D and the C. Okay, so it's C major 7, minute by minute. I'll be holding on down to the G major 7. And now we can climb up. G major 7, A minor, B flat, B minor, back to the C major 7 by minute. And then I'll be holding on. And you can just keep repeating that until you get thunderous applause, and then that's the end of your song. And that's the end. So we've covered all the bases, and hopefully that helps you out. Remember the 4 beats, 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4, that 12/8 pop ballad rhythm. 4, 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. Now think the 3 on 2, right? Or the 6 on 4. Da 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 da, and then da 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 to the D minor for 2 measures, and then to the G11. Da, da. It's a little slow, but just so you can get the idea. Hey, don't you worry, I've been lied to. I've been here many times before. Don't you worry, I know where I stand. I don't need this love, I don't need your hand. I know I could run, thinking you'd be gone. Let's be prepared, any time to carry on. Oh, minute by minute by minute, I'll be holding on. Minute by minute by minute, I'll be holding on. 11. You get the idea. Now the next time you come through that verse, you do the next verse, and then I'll be holding on. Okay, again, an introduction style. Da 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 da. Call my name and I'll be gone. You reach out and I won't be there. Just my luck you realize. You should spend your life with someone. Okay, another D9, life with, and now we're gonna switch the key to C, minute by minute by minute, D11, and then the G major 7. And then we're going to climb back up, A, B, I'll be holding on. thunderous applause, and then you finish off and standing ovation and you go forward, right? So we went through that a little slower than we typically would, but I wanted to make sure that all of the chords and all of the movement were pretty clear. So I hope that helps you out. Again, you could get this worked up to speed. You could add in your own little bass lines and runs, if you will, and I think you can make this a really popular piece for your repertoire in your nightly gigs. So again, hope you enjoyed that. Comments, always enjoyable, always pleasurable. Musical comments especially, I love to hear. And I'll see you again next time. Carry on, my friends.